Am I the asshole for banning my wife's friend from my house after she pushed me for taking my drunk wife home? My wife is 27 and I am 28. My wife has a friend, a bit of a close friend. In fact, she's been friends with her since past 2 years. I don't like her at all, and a lot of people find her insufferable. This weekend, my wife told me that she's going to her friend's house and she'll spend her evening and night at her place with their 2 other friends. I asked her if they'll drink. She told me yes, but she won't go overboard this time, and she'll book a cab and come home before 10.
Really?
I told my wife that she won't book a cab. I'll come pick her up, and she shouldn't drink a lot. She promised me she won't, but I had this feeling that she might drink too much because my wife has tendencies of over drinking, especially when she's excited and partying. So I went to pick her up an hour before. When I showed up at her friend's place, I saw all these drunk women dancing, drinking, and screaming like they ran out of a mental asylum, and my wife was laying on the couch, clearly drunk. I grabbed my wife and told her it's time to leave. Her friend stopped me and insisted to let my wife stay for a bit longer, and even my wife said to wait a bit. I told them that they were having fun and drinking for so many hours, and it's more than enough for today. When I tried to leave with my wife, her friend tried to stop me a bit forcefully, and when I didn't listen to her, she pushed me and called me controlling and cursed me in front of everyone. I told her that the only reason I'm not retaliating is because she's a woman and I'm in her house. But from this moment, she's not allowed in my house. And if she comes over to my house ever again, I'll call the police. I left with my wife, and after we got home, I fed her, which she puked at midnight and went to sleep with me. And she didn't sleep until midnight and didn't let me sleep either and kept saying, my husband, and hugged me. And she kept complimenting me. I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy that. But anyway, now her friends are all telling me that I'm being a controlling husband, and I have no right to tell my wife what she can and can't do, and I don't have the right to ban her friend from her house. Am I the asshole? Sure, I'm a bit angry, but my anger is not without reason. And if I appear as a controlling husband, I think my wife's situation warrants it, and I'm just doing what I think is best for my wife.
What is your wife's situation? Like, what, her hanging around having friends and having fun?
And getting drunk?
Just some little girlhood moments?
Yeah.
What is the situation? Because when he says, and if I appear as a controlling husband, I think my wife's situation warrants it.
My client is just trying to do right by his wife.
No, he's trying to control her. No comeback?
I got nothing. The defense rests.
This, also he came an hour early.
Yep.
Said not to drink too much. Why?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like, okay, I can understand if she was a literal alcoholic.
Okay.
And if this was like something like she was sober for whatever. And
okay.
like she has an issue with drinking. But if she's just having fun with her friends, I don't see what the problem is. Also, 10 o'clock is early.
But what time do they start drinking?
But it doesn't really matter, does it? Like,
If they start drinking at 3 in the afternoon, well, younger people start drinking at 10, 9, pre-drink.
yeah, that's why
10.
I'm like,
But
this is early.
she's already drunk by 9.
So then he picked her up an hour early.
Yeah, that's a little odd to show up a little hour early.
Also, why are you even in there in the first place? Like, why aren't you still in the car waiting for her?
Right?
Why did you go inside and drag her off the couch?
Why didn't you let an Uber pick her up?
That's weird.
Mm-hmm. Ladies.
I guess the Uber thing, like, it could be a safety thing, a safety concern.
Protecting the wife now.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like the Uber thing isn't super controlling.
So,
I actually think it's kind of sweet.
So saying, no, Teresa, you will not take an Uber. I will come drive and get you. Not controlling?
I don't think that's controlling. I find that sweet. Like,
where's the line on that one?
I think it depends on your relationship. If it's meant, like, if it's coming from someone who's controlling, like, is it coming from a place that, like, you want to be there to pick her up because you want to make sure that she gets home by this time? That's controlling. But if it's because you want to pick her up because you don't want her to be drunk in an Uber and possibly not get home safely, then that's endearing. That's different. But given the context that we have here, I don't believe that he was doing it in like, he wasn't coming from like a concerned place.
So what's your vote?
Asshole.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, here are the facts of the case. She started drinking early.
How do you know? Where did it say that?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, here are the facts of the case. He went to pick her up 1 hour early at 9 o'clock, and therefore when they got home, she was puking her guts out because of how drunk she was. Therefore, she was too drunk at this time, and therefore my client is not guilty and was looking out for his smashed wife.
What is the issue with her being drunk?
Nothing. Okay, let me rephrase this. Do you think that maybe it could be slightly telling if the fact of when he went to pick her up, she's obliterated, and when he gets her home, she's puking? Not just, oh, they were drinking and, they were doing some karaoke and stuff, and when she got home, she was fine. But do you think it could be a bit telling in this case that it sounds like she's obliterated drunk? She comes home, she's puking, he has to feed her, and she's just mumbling, my husband, my husband, my husband. Could that be a little bit telling of how drunk she was in this situation?
I think yes. She probably was like super drunk.
So now could you also envision 5 other girls being inside the house being like, we're having so much fun. Don't ruin the vibe. Don't take her. Don't ruin the vibe. But she is so drunk that she's puking where it's like, no. She's had enough fun. Appreciate that you guys want to continue partying. But she's about to start puking everywhere. I need to take her home.
Okay. I see that perspective. Like, that to me is coming from a place of concern. If
part of the story wasn't like she puked her guts out and my husband, and it was just like, I'm sad. Why are you taking me home so early? Like, I've only had 3 drinks.
Yeah.
That would be a little telling. I will say at first I was like, damn, this dude's controlling. Asshole.
Okay, I see that.
So then I kept reading.
Yeah.
So Opie responds to multiple comments about him being controlling of his wife's drinking and social habits. And this comment was downvoted that he said, how often I control my wife's drinking habits? As often as I can. I don't want her to die of alcohol poisoning or something of the sort when we are still so damn young. I'm not her father, I'm her husband. And if it makes me a controlling husband just because I'm making sure my wife doesn't overdrink and trying to save the life of the person I love the most, then I'll gladly accept that I'm the most controlling husband on this planet. Bit dramatic, right? I feel the same way when I see my wife so wasted she can't control her drinking, then I'll do it on her behalf. I'm not sure how old you are or if you're okay with your loved ones ruining their life, but I think alcohol is a real problem, at least what I think, not sure about you.
Okay.
I would like to point out that at one point, alcohol was illegal, and you could kind of constitute alcohol as being like a classified drug. If your spouse was snorting cocaine or doing some other hard drug, would you not want to encourage them to not overdose? Yeah. There is such thing as alcohol poisoning, and you can drink too much and actually die, like type of thing.
Yeah.
So now where is the line of being controlling and not letting your partner die from alcohol poisoning?
I think I'm swayed.
Because I am also like, let's recap. They came home and she was puking. That means that you drank a lot.
Yeah. I think I'm actually on OP's side now. Like, this reply.
Do you remember Lexus Christmas party?
Oh, how can I forget?
Do you think it was reasonable of you to try to convince me to stop drinking so much, stop taking so many tequila shots?
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been bad for you to say, pound another tequila shot, Denver?
No, I was actually really concerned. I do get concerned when it comes to drinking because...
Fair point.
Sometimes I'm like, when you get drunk, I have to like watch you breathe at night and make sure that make sure you're fucking alive, bro. It's just the hypochondriac in me, though.
That's funny. So, moving on in the case.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I am gonna change my mind though. Like that context that he just brought up.
No. You stay on your side.
No, I want to be on your side.
No. You made your choice. You called him the asshole.
Why?
Beginning.
Now I have
You got to
more...
ride it. You got to ride it out.
No, now I have more context.
You can change your vote later. You haven't had all the context yet. Wait till you get all the context.
Okay.
Then you can see what side of the jury you want to pull.
Fine.
Commenter says, we need more. What did your wife have to say the next day when the hangover passed and she learned all that happened? OP replies and says, my wife didn't remember exactly what happened. My wife agreed with me when I told her that her friend is no longer allowed in my house. Her question to me was that if she was really that drunk, and I just said yes, and I told her that I'm not letting her get drunk like this ever again. She didn't meet or go over to her friend's house after that weekend, and she didn't drink more a shot a day. I see improvement and her guilty, so I'm taking it slow with her and letting her think for herself.
She didn't drink more a shot a day.
I'm thinking more than a shot a day.
Like she has a shot every day?
I guess so.
Okay. I think she's probably an alcoholic.
Do you think this comment that OP says, my wife didn't remember exactly what happened? So are you telling me that... So
she was blackout.
So members of the jury, here are the facts. She puked when she came home. She didn't remember how drunk she was the night before. Therefore, it is probable cause to think that she was blackout wasted and that he did the right thing by taking her home early.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just picturing myself in this situation. Like, if it were you, I would have the same concerns as him. Just initially with the first post, I thought that it may just be like, he doesn't want her to have fun with her friends. That's what I was giving. Like, okay, don't have fun with your friends. Like, don't drink, don't do this. Like, I'm coming to pick you up at 9:00. But this is now coming from a concern. Jack, are you okay? This is more coming from a concerned aspect where he's like, I don't want her to die, to literally die. That is my wife.
He also comments and says, it's actually so stupid and concerning that most of the Redditors here are saying that I'm controlling, but do not understand my wife's drinking habits. I know my wife has a problem with alcohol, and I hope and pray to God that my wife would be just as controlling and do whatever needs to be done to help me escape my addiction if I ask as in her stead. My wife is addicted, and her friends are encouraging her instead of helping her stop. Do these commenters have any experience what it's like to live with an alcoholic, to clean puke at midnight? It's not in me to just give up on my love and find someone else. I would rather try my best to help my wife than just divorcing her and leave her on her own. I love her more than anything else, and if I have to become a controlling husband, I will, as long as she stops getting drunk like this. I will do whatever it takes to help her with her alcoholism, and if it makes me an abuser or controlling husband, then I'm okay with that, as long as my wife is healthy and leads a good life without alcohol. I'm losing my mind just reading these comments.
I think OP should have put more context in the initial post.
Maybe described a bit more about
she
the
is an
wife
alcoholic.
Drinking and not focusing on
That
whether
would have changed everything.
He's focused on whether the friend pushed, and he assumed we should all know about this. So there is an update that comes in 9 days later. First of all, I want to thank everyone for their helpful advice. And I didn't realize that my post blew up and that I got more than 6,000 comments on my post. I stopped reading and started focusing on my wife and her health instead. When I logged back in, I read a lot of the comments. Obviously, I couldn't go through them all, so to clarify, yes, when it comes to drinking, I am a bit controlling to keep my eyes on her, make sure she doesn't overdrink, and I won't let her grab a cab when she's drunk. Not sure why some people are upset that I didn't let my drunk wife grab a cab alone to come back home and I picked her up instead. Even if I'm at work and she calls me, I'll leave work and go drive her home. It's not codependency.
Sorry.
Even if I'm at work and if she calls me, I'll leave work and go drive her home. It's not codependency. I'm just taking care of my wife when she's vulnerable. If she's sober, I obviously have no need to go through all this. I'm not her father, I'm her husband, and I feel like it's my responsibility to help and take care of her when she's drunk. I told my wife that she's been drinking way too much, and the amount of alcohol she consumes during social events is obnoxious, and even on a daily basis. I told her that after I brought her back home from her friend's house, she drank only a shot a day when I was present, but when I wasn't with her, did she drink even more? I would never know. I told her that I want to help her and don't want to lose her, but I also don't want to clean her puke and the floor all the time. And your friends actually encourage you to drink more instead of stopping you. And when I tried to pick you up, like I always do, her friend pushed me. She said she didn't realize that she was causing me so much trouble and she's going to stop drinking. I told her that drinking is fine as long as it's occasional and in moderation. Since then, my wife didn't drink much. She drank yesterday after almost a week, but didn't go overboard, and she said she'll seek a counselor and seek medical treatment if she can't control herself. Am I controlling? Yes, I guess, but only when it comes to alcohol. Even I didn't realize that my wife is getting addicted, or already got addicted, and like others commented, that I can't forcefully help my wife, and she'll start blaming me. I still don't want to give up on my love. I love her. I know she loves me. She confesses her love to me in even more embarrassing ways than just hugging me and repeating, "My husband." I'm not a professional, but I'm currently making my wife exercise and make sure she's taking enough multivitamins.
I did a full 180 with this one. I had my pitchfork out.
The court had found him guilty. Good thing he found a good enough lawyer on ThreadTalk.
Good job, honey. Wow.
I rest my case.
He's a good man, Savannah. That is a good man. Looking out for a shot a day? That should have been in the initial post, buddy.
Why are you taking shots? Like, I can understand if you grabbing like a beer or like a seltzer. But man, if I just come home and the first thing I need after work is a shot of vodka.
That's wild.
Oh my man. I love to burn.
Damn.
All right, back to you.
All right.